You guys really liked my videos on the mental load and how people who've got some fights in their marriage about who carries the mental load wind up in my office as a divorce lawyer here in Austin. So I wanted to give you guys a couple of tips for the springtime in terms of the mental load. It's springtime, we've got spring break coming up, and you've got summer on the horizon. So if you're in a troubled relationship with kids or even just a normal relationship, but so much is going on in your family, you're definitely dealing with the mental load of parenting the kids and doing family administration at this time. So for my female clients, this is most of the time a very, very stressful time of year. And for my male clients who are just trying to help or are trying to take on more parenting responsibilities, they really don't know what to do this time of year or the best way to help their co-parent out or their spouse out while they're trying to raise the children and function as a family. So I like to give people a couple of tips. If you're the list maker this spring, if you're the person who's taking care of all of the summer camps, if you've already got your spreadsheet going of who's going to be where on which weeks, if you're getting all geared up for the religious holidays on your future, getting all of the invites out, this is for you. I want you to slow down. I want you to write on your to-do list, take a look at your top 10. Be honest about it. Write your top 10 to-do list and then cut the last 5 items off. It's going to be painful, but you can barely do the 5 on top. So what you're going to do this spring is you're going to delegate the remaining 5. I know that sounds impossible if you have a spouse that's not very helpful, but you're going to do it because you're holding so much resentment in your heart. You're overworked, you're rushing around everywhere, and you can't be a great parent if you're completely unhealthy on the inside and no time for yourself. So slice off that last 5 and delegate it out. And here's the trick. You have to be okay with an imperfect result of the remaining 5 that you delegated out. So it's going to be handed over to your family, your husband, your co-parent, and it's probably not going to be as great as when you did it yourself, but that's okay. If you're going to delegate, you've got to let it go. So that's my tip for the list makers. Here's my tip in the spring for those that are receiving the lists, the ones that maybe aren't carrying as much of the mental load. In the springtime, there's so much going on, and this part of the video is for you. First of all, understand, just as a truth, whether or not you believe it or not, you've got to work off of this assumption. The items in your list are extremely hard to do. You have to already come into it not thinking it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. So number one, you have to respect the task. It's going to be hard. You have to predict that you're going to have to, really use all of your efforts to get this through the finish line. And the second thing is you have got to block off enough time to do this. You're not normally doing this activity. You're having your spouse or your significant other do it. So you've got to give yourself time to be able to get yourself organized and to get the task together. And if you oversimplify this and think it's going to be easy peasy, you're going to run into a time crunch and you're going to piss off your spouse by just kicking it to them to do or asking a million questions in the moment, which is unhelpful. So you've got to take it seriously, block off enough time for you to do it. And then finally, it's okay to ask questions, but you've got to ask those questions in advance. I'm talking days and hours in advance. Do not wait till the day of to ask a bunch of questions about how to execute on the task. Think of it like a work project. Think of it like a school assignment. Wouldn't it be terrible if the person who's responsible for an entire part of this project just waited till the day it was due and minutes before it was supposed to be turned in, turns to the group and says, how do I do this? You're probably going to hate that person. So translate that into marriage. That's not going to go well either. So hopefully the do's and don'ts of the list maker and the list receiver is helpful for you today in this crazy springtime with all of our crazy family commitments.